Let's be honest here. If you've been watching this channel for a while, or if you just know me in general from other channels I've been on, you know that I know what the women want.
Did you ever, or do you have like a signature move that you do that you find yourself doing with multiple people that you've dated?
I try.
Like, do you have a signature move to like really get it? You know, like lock it in.
Seal the deal.
Seal the deal.
No,
Oh, boy,
not.
no.
Hope to God.
I try something different every time because like I don't have the right move yet.
Been hung up.
Let me tell you the most genius thing I do when a honey is coming
Genius.
over to make her not.
Did I not do love spells and potions on the #1 talk show on YouTube, Good Mythical Morning? In there.
Okay. Well, you have the most exquisitely long fingers I've
I
ever
really
seen on
do.
a human being.
That's what she has said to me. Megan Batoon taught me how to dress, okay?
I've actually never worn these things in this combination, and I 100% like it.
But I'm saying I know these things due to years of research and dedication. What did Mitt Romney say? I got binders full of women, okay?
I went to a number of women's groups and said, can you help us find folks? And they brought us whole binders full of women.
A lot of you young men aren't minning today. A lot of you men know more about what the other guys want than what the women want. And I'm saying this is your biggest flaw.
For one very outrageous sexual wrong.
And it's not even gonna be that good.
No, it's not. It's gonna be sticking to your back the whole time.
Yeah, you're gonna get sweaty. Bills are gonna start peeling onto your back.
And
That's
money
not
doesn't
fun.
smell good, you know? Like, you know, when a
I
girl comes over.
disagree.
When I prepare for a date, I have a 12-step process that I have been using since 2015. Wins every single time, okay?
I like to put in a new Glade thing into my wall. Best believe when you're not there, it does not smell like that.
What is
It
the
does not
William
smell like
Haynes?
that.
What is the William Haynes routine when a girl is coming
Oh,
over?
that's a great.
I'll tell you.
Here we go.
That's much better than worst teacher.
First off, I hang everything up. I hang for the,
I'm sorry.
does that mean?
Wait, does that mean that you have a ton of things on the floor for the rest of the time?
Absolutely.
Why
I
don't
hang
you
it
just
all up.
leave it hung up?
Why am I single, you may ask? Too many women want me.
Genius.
To make her think my room always looks like this, I leave stuff in the trash. So she's like, oh yeah, it's lived in. It's lived in.
You couldn't take
That's
out the
why-
trash before she showed up.
But not a bunch, just one or two things.
That's actually a really good plan because sometimes like, when a girl has her period and she has to change her tampon and there's an empty trash can.
Oh yeah.
You don't just want to put the tampon in there. You have to have something to put over it.
I'm
to
looking
hide
out
it.
for women in their menstrual cycles.
Yes,
That's
you
what
are.
I'm doing.
Why are they coming over during their menstrual cycle?
Also, why are they throwing
Because
it away
it
in his
doesn't matter.
room?
Some
Yeah.
people need to be held.
That's
Women
true.
exist regardless.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just
Matt?
giving him shit.
God, I can't on a period.
No, hey, some would
If you don't know the technique of leaving a little bit of trash in the trash can so she feels comfortable with using the trash can. If there was no trash in there, she'd be like, oh, the minute I put something in there, he gonna notice.
argue it's even better.
It's all sloshy in there. Yeah.
Hey, you got your.
Sophia's
No. I'm talking about a Slurpee.
Sophia's mouth is hanging open so wide.
I'm a menstrual cycle expert, okay? But first, before we talk about what they really want, the point of this entire video, can we talk about the girl who posted herself at the Sydney Taylor Swift concert? Yes, what women really want is to go see Taylor Swift live. That is true as well. But I'm gonna be honest with you, this isn't giving, I really love the music, this is giving mental health breakdown. I don't know why people record themselves having moments like this. I mean, it's not really giving I'm your biggest fan, it's giving idol worship. A lot of y'all really need Jesus. I'm gonna be honest, y'all ain't never gonna see me crying for real. I've done a lot of fake crying bits, but if I'm ever actually crying, y'all ain't gonna see it.
Addison Black Band was seated outside of Accor Stadium with two of her friends on Sunday night.
But yes, what I really wanted to talk about, what women really want is the Stanley Cup.
Drawing screams of excitement and tears of joy. This year's hottest status symbol and most coveted holiday gift is the Stanley Tumbler. The 40-ounce Quencher, a favorite for preteens and adults alike, comes in a variety of colors and costs $45.
I waited a little bit for this trend to die down a little bit so I can analyze it. One of the things that I don't like about, most shows is that they have to talk about things as soon as they happen, which doesn't give you enough time to think.
Fans lining up for new releases and limited edition items, like these Valentine's Day bottles. It's reminding some of the Beanie Baby craze, or a classic Black Friday stampede.
So, of course, a couple of weeks ago, towards the end of last year, the beginning of this year, everybody was talking about the Stanley Cup all the time. If you're like me and you're a person who's not into water bottle culture, you did not know about this at all whatsoever. You kind of heard about it once, and then after that, you just kept hearing about it.
The Quencher taking the company's annual sales from $73 million to $750 million, a massive bump for a brand that's been around for more than a century.
I recently posted a video about that girl who was cleaning up houses or whatever. In that video, I heard no, she wasn't cleaning up houses. She was pretending to work at Target. In that video, someone asked her what a Stanley Cup was.
I got there at 1 p.m. ready to work. I made sure to go above and beyond for my customers.
You know what the Stanley Cups are?
Oh, yeah, they're over here.
That was my first exposure to that. I was like, what is this? Then I was driving and the news was on and I heard them talking about it on the news. And just like you and everybody else, the explosion of it. But I wanted to see what was the root of it all. How did it get this far? And it actually is pretty impressive. If you didn't really look into it, there was a woman whose car caught fire.
Viral video has been viewed 60 million times. The woman's car inside is completely destroyed, but her Stanley survived without a scratch.
And yes, when the fire was done, she got to go through her stuff. Her Stanley Cup was fine.
It still even had ice in it. The company's motto is their product is, quote, built for life, and they are putting their money where their mouth is.
And on top of that, it still had ice in it.
A woman's Stanley tumbler survives a car fire, and now the company's going to replace her ride.
I'm not gonna lie, that's very impressive. Me, a person who's not even tripping about having a water bottle with ice cold water in all the time, I'm like, oh man, maybe I should get one of those. And what makes it even better is that the Stanley Cup people knew how good marketing this was, that they ended up buying her a new car.
New cups? Man.
Well, you know it works.
I guess so.
What do women want? They want a fancy water bottle. They want you to buy them a car. Just do it.
Associated with macho blue-collar workers, is now a $750 million a year juggernaut beloved by women.
Actually, I take that back. My first actual introduction I just remembered to the Stanley Cup was I follow this guy who has what he refers to as like a laser. It's like a mirror or it's like a giant magnifying glass that he uses to burn stuff. His page is awesome.
My daughter donated her Stanley Cup to see what would happen if I put it under the solar death ray. This giant lens melts rock, so I was curious to see what would happen when I put the Stanley on the hot seat. As the funneled sunlight hit it, the cup immediately began to smoke.
He was unable to completely destroy the Stanley Cup like the laser destroys everything else.
And then burst into flames. I left the Stanley under these hellish temperatures for quite a while, and what happened next was very surprising. Even though the solar death ray melted through the outer layer of the cup, the inner steel layer actually put up quite a bit of resistance. I could actually see a glowing spot from the inside of the cup that was shining through the inner layer. But when I disengaged the solar death ray, it actually failed to burn a hole clean through the wall.
That was impressive as well. And then there's this whole debacle about people believing that there's lead in the Stanley Cups.
Associated with macho blue-collar workers, is now a $750 million a year juggernaut beloved by women.
Now we're all about them big dumb cups.
A phenomenon SNL recently played up for laughs and even referenced the controversy.
You can really taste the bacteria. I'm getting lead.
So how concerned should you be?
There really is practically zero risk of you ingesting any of the lead that's in this cup.
But what was the most impressive part of me to all of this is how expensive the Stanley water bottles are and became because of the high demand. You guys really can't be spending this much money on water bottles. I mean, that's how you know America is such a great country. People love to complain about America, but do you know how great it is to not have children working in sweatshops, I'm saying that's pretty great. Do you know how great it is that so many people have so much extra money that they can spend it on water bottles? So America's pretty great, you know? You know how great it is to not be waking up to bombs every day? So complain about America if you want, but it seems to be a pretty high standard of living in this country. All right, guys, well, my microphone ran out of batteries and I don't have time to go to the store, and this was what my videos would really sound like if I didn't have a microphone. So, in conclusion, if you want your company to go from a under $100 million company to over to $750 million companies, you gotta sell to the women's. The guys ain't buying it. The guys is buying one of them. The girls are buying them in every single color. Also, you should know Brie Essrig, DJ, Whitney, Steven, all of them, they're like crowdfunding a movie, Gunplay. So you should go help them do that. So what do they want? They want tickets to the Taylor Swift concert. They want a really nice water bottle and they want you to buy them a car. Watch this other video I did about something really important.